Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Vader Games in the building. You know what it is. You know what it is. First things first. My peoples come first. My peoples, thank you so much for being in the chat, for being in the channel, helping with the subs. I'm loving all of the support. Thank you so very, very much. You see what's going on here. Still celebrating. I gotta be real. I'm still celebrating. I've owed you guys. I've owed you shows. I'm so sorry, but the celebrating has been real, and I'm interrupting the celebration to be back. I gotta be more consistent. 100%. I gotta be here on the regular. But man, I've been celebrating. This city winning standard is gotta live it up. Gotta live it up. Gotta enjoy it. Now, what am I gonna do? Let me adjust. I think my lighting is a little off, to be honest with you, but I'm gonna leave that for now. Hopefully, let me know in the comments. I want to make sure my volume, my levels are good. If you're here because you saw the YouTube notification, fantastic. If you're here because you saw the tweet, great. Spread the love, spread the word. Let the people know about Why Always Me. This is episode 86. Why Always Me, episode 86. And you know what we got to talk about? We got to talk about this three-peat treble celebration. Okay. I know some of you have kind of calmed down. I'm still celebrating. I'm going to be real with you. I'm still celebrating. I'm going to take a break within the celebration and kind of to talk about things. We got to talk about City's winning standard. We got to talk about that. And we got to talk about how the price of rice is skyrocketing. What's going on? What's going on with the market right now? The cost for rice? Crazy. So we're going to get all that going. But you know where I'm from. You know what I rep. I'm based out here in Toronto. I got to show you a little bit of the city, a little bit of this legendary, famous street called Yonge Street and the skyline. So enjoy the intro. We'll do it proper, and then we'll be back. You know how we got to do it every time. Okay. Now, levels are good. I'm gonna adjust the lighting when I can. Things are nice and calm. And let's get to it. Before I say who's first in the comments, before I do that, let's look at this. This is, if you're new to the channel, you go hit that sub button. Hit that like button. Anything you see the topics you like. I happen to say something you like. Yo, show some love. Hit that like button and spread the word. I'm not on all of the platforms. I'm not doing the TikTok. I'm not really doing the Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. But if you can share this channel via all those, much appreciated. Now, topics are right there. I'm gonna run through all of that. You guys get to see the flow, and I promise I'm gonna chop this up. All right, timeline settings. I'm going to chop this up based off of those topics specifically. We'll keep that nice and clean moving forward. So let me shout out First in the building. It's been a while, and I'm back. Who's first to support? Yo, the man's changed his names a few times, so I'm going to go with Ethan H., but I know who you are. You got the thumbs up right there. He wants to say... I think he's there for the violence. That Guti doesn't have all right, I can't lie. No, we'll deal. Pierce Morgan talking about FFP after. He is a clown, but he knows what he's doing. He gets those clicks. Dre P, the treble is and should be celebrated as a landmark achievement. The manner of it, the ups and downs, overall, an incredible story. Dre P, facts. That's 100%. Listen, you could be completely shameless, right? You can go to the extreme, and on a certain day, I will do that. On a certain day, I will go to those levels. But a three-peat to win your first UCL in treble fashion. So not only did you say, I'm the best domestically, you went on to say you're the best in Europe. And your pursuit of that Champions League was a unbeaten, dare I say, invincible run in the Champions League. Ooh, got to be celebrated, Dre P. I'm with you. Got to be celebrated. Dre P goes, Man U's treble was rightly celebrated. Yeah. It had to be celebrated, 100%. And that was at a time when FFP wasn't fabricated / implemented. Yo, I love that fabricated / implemented high levels. Therefore, I don't want or care to hear talk of City's trouble and FFP in the same sentence. Dre P, they don't want to hear it. That is a fantastic point. That is a point. That is a comment that is greatly appreciated on the other show, right? CIA intelligent agendas. That point right there, that's a killer. That's a killer point when we talk about agendas. And we want to do the comparison with regards to best English trouble. I'm with you, Dre P. I'm with you. You're on fire today. This narrative being pushed as if FFP prevented United, Chelsea, etc. from beating City to their recent success. I don't see how when clubs were splashing 90 million on Anthony and 70 million on Pepe. This might have to be a topic, Dre. Dre P, this might have to be a topic. I didn't realize, again, time zone wise, me balancing the show within work as well. I don't quite hear all of the living stories. But if this is what they're trying to do, if they're trying to do FFP, FFP is now a bad thing for competition. Comical, absolute comical. That comment with you with regards to earlier when you said clown, I get it. I get it. Ethan goes, the Twitter man has returned. Listen, Ethan, I haven't been able to be as vocal as I wanted to be because honestly, a lot of the work, some of the tasks, even some of the time spent, away from obviously the platform, away from work, even engage with family. I could be in the spaces, listen on occasion, sometimes request to be speaker, but I wasn't able to do things on the regular. It was let me break this down, and I'm not liking my lighting. Hold on, let me adjust something here. All right. I think that's a little bit better, but I think I need to adjust the lighting. Now, big things happen, all right? Back in April, landmark moment within life. So things were a little hectic schedule wise. But then that leads us into, the final end of the season, Champions League. And from a timing standpoint, I'm so thankful. My eldest just graduated, moving on from grade 6, and there was a lot of moving pieces at that time. So it was hard to juggle everything. And then celebrated wedding anniversary. Listen, fellas, if you're there in your life, if you will get there in the future, anniversaries you got to do correct. And in my case, it is difficult. It is difficult to surprise wifey. Nearly impossible. Too inquisitive. Too need to be in the know too much. You know what I mean? So for me to really do it proper and keep her blanked out, not knowing what's happening, it required a lot of my time. So I'm back though. That's celebrated that. Graduation's happening now. We're kind of like in summertime settings, so we'll be more consistent. Trust me on this one. Ethan, I am back. I've returned. I'm here. JP goes, volume's good. Big ups, wicked. Now, City don't need anyone looking to come in. If anything, they need to retain at least some of those linked to leave after Gundo. We'll get into it. Dre P, we'll get into it first. And you see it, still celebrating. How you gonna fault me? You gonna fault me for still celebrating a treble, a three-peat treble? Nah, man, nah. No, can't do that. But let me take those off screen and we'll get into it because we do need to talk about this winning standard 100%. Now, let me put these on screen because again, I'm gonna do this proper, nice and clean.
Vader game.
Three-peat, treble winners, unbeaten, dare I say, invincible Champions League 2022-2023. What a journey. I can't wait. I'm saving all of the scratch right now because I'm gonna be buying a gross amount of memorabilia. Whatever whatever docu series come out, I'm copping it. It's gonna be one of those. So this year has been crazy. Can't wait to see the behind the scenes and obviously a lot of the emotions with regards to players. KDB fighting injury, Gundogan obviously negotiating and still playing through a season, Walker negotiating, playing through a season, and all those players being committed. First year players, Holland, Alvarez, you know what I mean? Gomez, Ortega, all big factors. I can't wait to see the behind the scenes because it's gonna be something nice, something special, and it's gonna be something rare on CIA. And maybe I'm spilling the beans, but I don't care. I'm spilling the beans right now. There, actually, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna save it because I think it'll hit. It'll hit if I keep it under wraps. It'll hit if I keep it under wraps. But we got to celebrate this three-peat trouble. And on top of that, because of this three-peat trouble, we have to say thank you. We have to say thank you to the man Silky Ilkay Gundogan. It's not a bittersweet for me. It's not a bittersweet because you can't remain at the club forever. As a player, you know that your career is finite. It's not infinite. There's an expiry date. There's only so much that you can really put on those legs, put on those lungs. So the club had a number of years. Gundogan had more. Like past greats that have played at their club, it's to say thank you, wish you all the best, but we're going to part ways. And the fact that he's going to Barcelona again, we know the good relationship between Manchester City and Barcelona, so can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that. We're going to wish him the best and have him do damage over there in La Liga. So all cool with that. Let me go to the comments. Ethan wants to say Arsenal fans are an embarrassment. Ethan, we got to be patient. We got to be patient with these Arsenal fans. I feel the frustration. I'm with you, man, because they've been out of it for a while. They've been out of it for a really long time, and sometimes you forget how to act, right? You could be a person you've lived in civilization, right? But you've been out in the wild for so long, for years, 19, 20 years. You haven't been around people. You haven't been around civilization, your society. You haven't seen how things have changed. They're out of practice. We just have to be patient with it and just distance yourself a little bit. Don't take it personal. It's brand new. It's kind of brand new to many of them. Many, especially the young fans that haven't, like, think about it. Fans that are probably in their 20s right now or early 20s, they know of Arsenal's success, but they haven't lived it. Like the most that they've kind of won has been FA Cups, and it was kind of inconsistent. And most recently with Arteta, so you got to give them a somewhat of a blah. If they get reckless, you put them in their place, but they're out of practice. Pierce wants that Osimhen. Yeah, the Napoli striker. No, many teams do, and he's legit. He's legit. Osimhen is legit. He's nice. Whether Napoli's going to let him go, and if they do let him go, it's going to have to be pricey, but we'll have to see on that one. Gundogan should have stayed. Ethan, I don't know, man. I don't think he should have stayed. He wanted a number with regards to years. City City, I believe City wanted one year less on that deal. I think it's better to part this way, and I'm gonna get into why it makes more sense to some players choosing not to join a treble team, and some players, depending on where they are within their career, number of years left within their career, have chosen to be like, you know what? Let me leave this club on a high. I think that's where it bodes for Gundogan because let's be real, he's on the other side of the hill, right? Things are going to be more difficult now than they were. So, in terms of remembrance, in terms of maybe not being able to match or exceed past performances, it might be the right thing to do, man. I really do think that. Arsenal are an oil too, but they can't accept it. Yes, you're right. You're right. Dre P, this World Cup, more than anything proves that there is more than enough football talent around the globe. No need for any club to be scrambling for a select few or even shelling massive prices. Dre P, to a certain degree, I think there's always going to be a premium or English tax on English talent. That's going to be there because when we think of the marketability, when we think of how these clubs are probably going to look to maybe promote the club or tie the club to certain players, anchor the club to certain players, and when we look at jersey sales, you kind of get it. But I agree with you. You don't. Sometimes you can easily make the choice to pass, which City have done many times, pass on a talent and look for an alternative that's available in, like you just mentioned, this global market. You can find a player. It's just about being in the know. We know there's talent all over the place, all over the world, and that's not just how it boils to football. If you really do your due diligence to have the information and to search for it, you'll find quality talent out there. DC, Vader, hope all is good. DC, all is good, all is great. You know what I mean? I can't complain. Things are nice, man. Actually, I gotta make sure I send this out to my peeps. Because I am gonna make sure that, and I didn't even realize we've been chatting already. I gotta make sure that I get this, make this nice and short. That's the plan. I want to be nice and concise with it. All right. What else you got to say? Oh, double up. Dre P, can't wait for the City documentary on this season. The short Champions League final movie was awesome for City. Yo, Dre, that had me glued. I was different, behind the scenes, different angles. Even when I'm gonna eat all of that up. I'm gonna love all of that. All of that. Let me make this nice and clean. Vader game. So we gotta thank Gundo. And then we also have to welcome Mateo Kovacic. We gotta welcome him. I mean, listen. Smart business with regards to talent, with regards to price, the quality, the skill set. To a fan, we all know this. When we play Chelsea, there's not many players we're like, we need to keep an eye on so and so, right? Conte was always what kind of form is he in right now? How's he playing? Is he on it today? And Kovacic was another one. Quality, and shamelessly, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of banter. At the very least, United fans, we got this man for you. Yes, Gundo had to leave. Gundo hitting you with two outside the box, one volley, but Gundo had to hit you with that in that FA Cup final. We got a player with the skill set, with an ability to do the same thing. All right, we got a player to do the same thing. So watch out for him, Kovacic. I'm with it. I'm happy with the signing. It's not a crazy length deal. He's obviously experienced. When we want to talk about league proven, battle tested, he's all of that. And it's not like we're going to need him to play every game. We're not going to need him to do that. So I think he's going to fit in just nicely. And it's smart business. We're gonna move from this one.
Vader game.
Oh, you know what? I missed the comments. 1 second. Let me go back. Dre P wants to tell me Gundogan was amazing. Pep's first ever signing. Talk about vision and scouting. Dre P, this is the thing. Gundogan was amazing, 100%. And he's evolved, he's improved under Pep. Listen, talent, no doubt. Ball knowledge, no doubt. Skillful, no doubt. But the way he was ghosting and being in those positions to score goals, that's something that was really came out, really start to shine under Pep. It really came out under Pep. And Pep knew where to play Gundo. Gundo was never on the wings. Gundo, yeah, he flirted around with playing that 6, obviously playing in that midfield, playing in that advanced 8, playing false 9. I think Pep got the most out of him, which is fantastic. He had a vision. And at that same time, with that same vision, it's like, you know what? Now it's time to move. I've scouted and I've recognized that I got to get a different talent in the mix. So we know City, we know Pep. They got to look younger. Gundogan, fantastic. Mateo's next up, man. I hope we get another all or nothing documentary on this season. The king of all seasons, DC. You don't have to. Don't worry about that. Listen, it may not be on Amazon, but trust me, because I heard this from my Liverpool friends. Like, and again, like friends were really breaking it down. Yeah, they were dropping a little bit of salt, but they're like, Vader, listen, when you finally, if you ever win your Champions League, the coverage, the documentary, the behind the scenes, the build up, all that's gonna be there. They told me this. And it's gonna hit different. You won't be able to get enough of it. I was like, okay, cool. As they were saying it with that shade and salt, but they're absolutely right. There's winning the Champions League, important. Trust me, important. You're gonna get the coverage of it. But this is a three-peat trouble. I can't say it enough. This is a three-peat trouble. The docu-series are going to be they're going to be well put together. They're going to be everywhere. And the club's going to give as much behind the scenes as they can. This has been, with regards to Pep now, this has been 7 years in the making, right? This has been something from a club standpoint. Let's be real. From a club standpoint, new ownerships, the addition to Mancini, Pellegrini, this has been a mission. This has been an objective. So because of that pursuit, what I want to see, DC, what I would love to see is the behind the scenes of when those attempts happen, even with regards to back in the day. Back in the day, hopefully we still have those rights, but the back in the day of Mancini and Pellegrini, even DC, even the failures, even the walking back to the locker room, hand on head, maybe tearing up, maybe frustrated, punching lockers, kicking, throwing water bottles. I want all of that because it just builds up to how much this one means. I know I'm rambling, DC, but I'm with it, man. I am with it. I want all or nothing type coverage, but at another level. I want it at another level. DC. Kovacic is a great addition, good personality, open-minded, willing to learn new things. Listen, and he also understands, like, there's no set guaranteed play time. You show you can play, you show you know what Pep's asking of you, you play. And obviously you're going to be playing for the top trophies. You're going to be playing for everything. No bigger fish to fry nonsense. Going to be playing for everything. So he knows he's going to be able to leave his mark on this club. Ethan goes, looks like Cancelo might stay, in my opinion. What? Ethan, if he remains a City player, he goes out on loan again. Maybe at slightly at a loss for us, but I don't think he's gonna stay in that locker room. I don't. DC, when we first saw Gundo rock up to City on crutches back in the day, I was livid. But look what he became. Trust Pep. Trust Tiki. You're right. You're right. I had my concerns. And also Gundogan got hurt while at City for a little stint, right? I think that knee just wasn't quite right even when he first joined. But if there's any example of, you're hurt, you were brought here because we believe in you, we're gonna let you fight your way, it's Gundogan. And any new player, any current player should look at that as, you know what? I put in the work, I'm gonna get mine. I put in the work, I'm gonna get mine. It's that easy. My gal, Rosie Marie, what's good? She goes, "Hey Vader, I know all is well with you. I'm grateful and giving thanks for all things good. Looking forward to the future faithfully. God is great." Rose, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. DC, and again, Rose, I know I say my gal. I only say my gal with you, so I hope you don't take offense. DC, Vader, do you think the loss of Pep's longtime assistant coach, Rodolfo, yes, is a big loss? His move to the MLS seems like a promotion, but is it? I think it's a big move. It's a big loss. Rodolfo is, for those of you that may not know, Rodolfo is the bigger manager or assistant manager that's usually next to Pep. Actually, I think Pep's entire staff are bald, and that's you can trust the bald manager or business owner or CEO, right? I know most presidents aren't bald, and that's why you should be a little with regards to that. But no, you want someone that's like constantly stressing and thinking and devising and coming up with plans. You know what I mean? Trust that they're putting in that work. But yeah, Rodolfo is going to be a big miss, and I think it's a promotion. It's a promotion because you get a chance to run your own. You know what I mean? And anytime you get to do that, big or small, um, it's a promotion because it'll lead to other things. Marvin in the building. Marvin goes, I really don't understand why City wanted Rice, other than to stop Arsenal from getting him. You need a total different midfielder. Rice is a lesser version of Rodri. Marvin, I think how he's been used and played, right, internationally as well as West Ham. I think I think Pep City would have seen a skill set that could be molded into something else. I don't think he would have been that six or that pivot like he was at West Ham. I think the club saw more from him in terms of maybe pushing him to be a little more advanced, or maybe at the very least have a level of balance on each side of the pitch, right? So whether it was Rodri or Rice, if they were to play together, one could go up, the other one could drop back and defend, and vice versa, keep the opposition off balance. That might have been the move, but again, the valuation that they had for him, the price that they had for Rice was set. Once that got to 105, see you later. Nah, not doing that. Not doing that. All right, let me take some of these things off screen and get into it. What do we got here? All right. Now let me put that there, and we got to go to the next thing. Vader game. Now, maybe this should have been saved for CIA. I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe I should have saved this for CIA, but I'm not. I'm gonna deal with it right now. I'm gonna deal with this right now. All right, because the agendas are coming out full force. City wins a three-peat treble. They want to come up with all kinds of stuff. Arsenal fans want to talk about, they couldn't compete because they didn't have the depth, and City basically has two squads. Agendas want to talk about no one can compete with City because of their spending. Meanwhile, last season, Chelsea spent the most. The season before that, Arsenal spent the most. And the way this summer transfer window is going so far, Arsenal are proving that they want this league title. They're aggressive with it. They're spending for it. So we'll see where things net out because they've kind of shown that, hey, our project, the phases are where they're at. They fell short last season, but the way they spent in that January transfer window, they wanted it. They wanted it. And I don't think they're going to chill. They're going to chill. They're going to try to win it. They're going to try to win it this upcoming season, and they're spending for it. So what I'm going to be putting on screen, I see my man Adam backstage. I'm going to bring him forward real quick. But what I'm going to put on screen, and I'm going to put this to rest, right? This city has 2 squads. Okay, I'm going to put this on screen. This 2-squad business, we're going to go with our typical, maybe our typical 11, if I can say that. And let me take this off. Maybe our typical 11. All right. Let me bring Adam in the building. Adam, my guy, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm good. My fellow 3-peat Treble winner. That's how I greet you, my friend. Thanks for being on the show. I want to deal with this real quick because I know we talk about this on CIA. We deal with agendas, you know what I mean? CIA intelligent agendas. That's usually where we break things down. But I've been MIA for a bit. You know what I mean? I've been celebrating a little too much, so I'm back with it. But I want to talk about this myth about City and its squad having 2 squads. Now, I put on screen right here. You guys can see it. It's right there. But we got this kind of, if I were to say, our kind of main 11 with a few differences, all right? Maybe Ake and Akanji switch out. Maybe that's a switch out. Maybe we got Ake remains there, but Walker moves out and we got Akanji. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit of changes, but this is our typical 11, all right? Now, solid. You won't hear me say a bad word about this 11. In the comments, let me know what you think about this 11 with a few changes, of course. But this 11 right here, fierce. It goes on record. Statistically, it's there. City had the least amount of depth based off of players used versus the rest of the league. All right. If you want to, or if you just want to focus on the top 6, top 7. All right. But you look at this 11 and you hear Man United, you hear Arsenal, you hear Liverpool, you hear Chelsea. That, you know, some of them want to talk about how they can't compete against 2 squads. All right. Now let me show you what the next squad is. Like I gotta be real with this one. Let me show you what the next squad is. The next squad, if we were to go position by position, okay? Obviously, instead of Holland, we got Alvarez. I'll hold my hands up. You got me. Quality for quality, okay? Obviously, Holland, record-breaking, mentality-shifting, dominant striker. But nonetheless, we got Alvarez, and Alvarez was a beast. He pretty much won everything that could have been won last year, with the exception of the League Cup, right? Alvarez was on fire. But we swap out Alvarez for Holland. Cool. Instead of Bernardo Silva, we got Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez, no slouch. Mahrez won with, Leicester, now won with City several times. He's obviously a 3-peat UCL winner. But what we ask Silva to do, we can't quite ask Riyad Mahrez to do. But I'm not going to be shameless. I'm going to say quality for quality. You got me. Now, then we look at this midfield. Instead of KDB, we got Foden, my star boy. Got him out there. Injury plagued last season, okay? But KDB, Foden, we know Foden's got big shoes to fill. He could never play like KDB. And quality for quality, I'm going to say cool. You got me. But then I forgot to do this. When we talk about Grealish, Cole Palmer, no disrespect, I think Cole Palmer is a talent. Adam, I think Cole Palmer is a talent. But and you would agree, there's a huge drop-off between Grealish and Cole Palmer. So this 2 squads can interchange between players is nonsense. Sorry.
You know what? It's I know people are not gonna like what I say. Look, Cole Palmer is very talented. But for me, I
Mhm.
don't feel like he's ready.
I
I
agree.
don't feel like it. It just feels too soon to somewhat
I agree.
push him into the
Yeah,
first team. I feel like, say,
it's a tough
kick him
ask.
out, say, send him out on loan, on say to a season long. So say something like a Sheffield who's come up to
Hmm.
the Premier League. Give
Hmm.
him that chance. Like let him play in the Premier League, like say with a Sheffield or a Luton. Send him to somewhere like that.
I'm
Yeah,
with you.
where
Yeah.
where he gets the game time to get experience. Then somewhat say then you can reevaluate when he comes back whether
Hmm.
you say you want to keep him or not. But my issue with Cole Palmer is he's not ready,
I agree.
and
I
and
agree.
just trying to say push him into that limelight isn't gonna help him. Say send him out on loan for a season long.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then at the end of it, when he comes back,
Yeah,
just sit back
reintroduce him.
and
No, I'm with you. I'm
reiterate
gonna
and
bring.
see whether you want to keep him or not.
I'm gonna bring my man Pitch Points, Gundalorian, into the building. But just before that, I want to stress, and I agree with you. I think Cole Palmer, he's got the quality. When you look at how stacked that first 11 is, it's difficult for him to punch through there, right? So I think what might serve him best, because I do think there's a talent there, might serve him best is regular playing time and for him to go elsewhere. But it's also for where he goes, it's got to be somewhere where their playing philosophy or approach to the game's got to be very similar because I don't want him picking up bad habits having to be like reset coming back to City. Let me bring in Pitch Points, Gundalorian. Thanks for being on the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, good evening, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, man. I'm good. I'm good. It's been a minute. We've all been celebrating, and how I introduce my man Adam, I have to say, welcome, three-peat Treble winner, Pitch Points. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
Absolutely.
Mm.
So this is the thing. I got 2022, 2023 squad up. I had on screen the originals or the main 11, with the exception of maybe um, Walker subbed out for a Kanji,
Mm.
but pretty much that 11, we saw Pep was like, I don't care who comes up against me. I know I can give the instructions to this 11, they'll get it done.
Mm.
And then, you know, I got to deal with the rivals every once in a while. They want to talk about, and even pundits want to talk about, City's got two squads. City
Mm.
could be top four with their second squad. And I do want to call out BS on that just because, and I have it on screen right now. The second squad would consist of Cole Palmer at left wing. It would consist of Sergio Gomez, who first year, not quite there yet. Um, honestly, we body wise, I have to put Maximo Perone in, and he's only touched the pitch, I think, like for two subs in games, and he would have
Mm.
to play where Gundogan is. And Phillips wasn't up for it year one. Laporte, he's fallen off post injury. He put his body on the line 2 seasons ago. I think he
Mm.
quite hasn't recovered yet. But and then we got Rico Lewis, young, still learning his way. Yes, record-setting, youngest to have ever scored in a Champions League debut. But we know that this 11 is not a squad. I would argue this squad is not top four in the league. So I wanted to put
I
that.
disagree with you.
You disagree with this squad?
I disagree with the fact that we don't have squad depth. And I'll explain why I disagree.
Please.
I think we are victims of our own success.
Okay.
Because the guys, Cole Palmer, Rico Lewis, Alvarez, Peroni can't seem to get a run of games.
Mm-hmm.
Is not a slight on them and their quality. It's the level at which the current team start and play at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those players start for any other team in the league. Any other team in the league.
See, we're on opposite ends right now because you believe.
But the level at which this first 11 plays for any team in any league in the world. Period.
Our main 11, of course. Yes, of course.
Julian
But
Alvarez
yeah.
can't get 15 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Guy played for Argentina, took him to the World Cup final, won the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Clear. Okay? Julian Alvarez starts for every club in the Premier League, right? He kicks
Yeah.
Jesus off as a number 9. He kicks Rashford off as a number 9. He kicks Gakpo off as a number 9. He blows away Sterling as a front forward, front player. Let's be clear. Let's talk facts here, right?
Mm.
Even Maxi Perone, right, blows away many of the midfielders right now in many of the top 4 teams. Let's be clear. Calvin Phillips starts in many teams. Calvin Phillips starts ahead of Declan Rice for West Ham.
Carl, you're with it today. Okay.
Okay?
All right.
The problem is not with these guys. The problem is you have this machine maniac of the first 11 who just know how to win. Ergo, they won the treble, and on the path to that treble, they beat United and Liverpool and Chelsea and Arsenal and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Let's be clear. Who else is there to beat?
Yeah.
That's the level.
Yeah.
The problem is not the players. The problem is the competition level of this current first 11 team. I mean, it's so bad, Veta, that I went back and I was watching a couple of games again today, just some clips. And there's a guy out there, I think his name is Foden Zone or something. He's a really good guy on Twitter. And he has these clips of us playing Arsenal twice.
Oh, you mean compilation? He puts the compilations or like the full game, sometimes the full game highlights?
Yeah. He's a brilliant guy. I love him. I would love to get in touch with him. And he showed us the Arsenal game at the Emirates, where Arsenal had been dominant all season, hadn't lost a game all season. It was February. Saliba was fit. He wasn't injured, right? The so-called Saliba that everybody's crying about and saying is the best since sliced bread. He was in the game. City were in their worst form, probably of the season. We went to the Emirates, and within 25 minutes, we blew them away. To the point where Arsenal had one shot on goal, and the XG in the second half was 0.00. To be clear, Saliba was there. I don't want to hear this stuff about this pretender aiming to be king of the hill. They're not. Right?
Gotcha.
Right? Where the media and Arsenal fans are talking about these great pretenders, I'm thinking next season, I'm thinking about the beast in Liverpool that's coming back. Because they will be our greatest rivals next season again. Let's be clear.
Woo! Okay. You know what? I wasn't expecting that.
Yes.
But
because you know why? I keep saying it again and again and again. In the past couple of years, in fact, in the past 15 years, 10 years, 15 years, there's only been one team that has got to 96 plus points, 2 teams. Liverpool and City. No other team in Premier League history has done it. None.
Right.
Not the Invincibles, not Fergie's team. Nobody's done it. The same team, the same managers are in the league. The same DNA is in those teams. They're going to go again. Arsenal, in their best ever season, ever, points-wise, they choked and couldn't do it. United's Fergie, with the best manager of all time, could not get to 96 points. Chelsea got to 93 or 95 under Conte, I believe, was in Mourinho. They're not there anymore, Vader.
Yeah. No, they're far from it.
So this noise that these clowns are making in Arsenal fans who want nothing, Liverpool are just chilling and saying, we are back, we're going to get you. Because I've seen signs from Liverpool in what Klopp did at the end of last season that I'm like, they're back. They're back.
Well, yeah, I mean, Klopp is cheating off of Pep's, notebook again, because what he did with Trent later in that season was proven to be a problem. Like, obviously recognizing the talent that Trent is, and to put him in an area of the pitch where he's got even more of an impact, was causing headaches. So I agree with you that they're not going to be the Liverpool of last year. And honestly, had they not fixed things up a little sooner, I think they would have been top 4. So I agree with you on that one. I don't know if it's just a matter of Arsenal falling completely off, though. The way they're spending right now, and I'm not saying that they're guaranteed to be top challengers again, or they're going to start the season the way that they did last year, but I think that bad taste of falling off the way they did, I think they're going to be a problem next year.
I don't think so, Vader. I don't think so. I think the reason why they were second was because Chelsea and Liverpool had a poor season.
Yeah.
Liverpool and Chelsea have a good season. They're not nowhere near that. I mean, I just don't see it.
I agree with you. I don't think they're going to be nowhere near dominant the way they were last year, because this is, and I say this often. Actually, we say this often because we also.
By the way, Rice is not going to make the difference. By the way, he doesn't have the caliber, the quality to make that difference.
You don't think adding the ingredients of rice is going to improve?
Yeah, no.
You don't think they cook? You don't think they cook with rice?
What are they cooking?
Vader, the only thing that they'll be cooking is jollof.
The reason why Arsenal are up there was because Liverpool. Let's be clear, right? When City won the league, we finished 5 points above them, right?
Yep.
Once the league was won, when Brighton bashed them 3-0, okay, at the Emirates, by the way, right?
Yeah, and there was a huge exodus of their fans.
And the league was done. City just cruised and said, "Nah, we're done. We're finished. We don't need to put stress." If the league was still going, City was serious. City win this by 10, 15 points. Easy.
That's fair. I agree.
Okay? Let's be clear. City were like, but Brighton bashed them. That's fine. Let's move. Let's think about FA Cup and think about the Champions League. Let's manage our minutes, manage our energy, rotate, players in, players out. Let's keep them fresh. Liverpool and Chelsea will be back next season. That double win or 4 points they got against Liverpool last season, it didn't happen this season again.
Yeah.
The 6 points they got against Chelsea, it's not happening again. So already that's a negative, at least 6 points there. Now, City know, right? City went to Liverpool, we lost 1-0. Okay, we beat Chelsea 1-0, I think it was away. So we know how to get over the line against those two teams. I don't think these guys can. I just don't think so.
JP, I agree with your comment. I think they need a little more development, some consistent play, but they do have the talent to be that good. This is where I find it interesting when we think about Arsenal too, because, and Carl, you and I, with our ability we watch other sports as well. And no disrespect to those that don't maybe follow us, but there's something to be said, especially in North American sports, about like the blueprint, or not necessarily being figured out, but having game footage, right? So once City pretty much demoralized Arsenal, showed them that, listen, you guys aren't up for it. You guys aren't ready. We went into your house and we had you fall back. We had you concede the pitch. We had you make errors against us. The reason why I say this, Carl, is because once they see a team and their approach and getting success, the next manager, the next club, they're pulling learning notes from that. They're saying,
yes, David, you're correct. You're 100% correct. They're learning from it, but it's beyond that, Vader. And what I mean by that is, it's not about look. It quality for quality. City's players are better than Arsenal, 100%.
Yeah. They don't believe so, but I agree.
Manager for manager, Pep is better than Arteta. It's clear. There's no like, oh, maybe no. It's clear, right? Manager for manager, the manager's better. Clear, right? The records show it.
Yeah,
right. Player for player, City have better players than Arsenal do all over the pitch, all over. First 11 for first 11, right? None of them gets into our squad. Not one. Not one.
Not you know what? Hold on. Let me do this right.
Right? Not one. Not one. Even throw in the Fodens of the world.
You're right.
And the Alvarez of the world.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Which of the so Saliba gets ahead of what? Of Diaz?
No.
Hell no.
No.
Or is it Gabriel ahead of Stones? Please.
No.
Is it Partey or Rice at a Rodri? No. Odegaard and De Bruyne? No. Xhaka and Gundogan? You kidding me? Jack or Martinelli?
Yeah.
Or is it Jesus and Haaland? Or Bernardo Silva can play multiple roles?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And let's bring in Foden. Okay? And think of Alvarez. Or Riyadh.
Yeah.
The experience. The winner of 6 Premier League titles. Now a Champions League winner.
I'm with you.
It's not even a. It's, and I get this thing. They're excited about Rice. I get it, right? But this is. It's almost like a little brother who's trying to argue with his older brother, right? And he's throwing punches, and the brother's like, "Yeah, sit down there, my friend. Go sit down. When you're ready, we'll talk." There's no comparison.
I want to shout out Dre P. Dre P goes, "Yup," and that's why Thierry Henry says Pep is the greatest. He makes players flexible and is flexible with systems.
I mean, we don't even have we don't even have a Kanji in this back four.
No, and this is where, and again, there's many alterations I could have done, right? Like I could have taken off a Kanji and put him in place of Ake, or I could have taken off Walker because of the system now that Pep wants to play, and had Ake and Akanji as starters and put Walker on this alternative 11. So the flexibility, the versatility that Pep has kind of adapted and he's made with his players is absolutely spot on. And I agree with you. If Arsenal, we know Arsenal fans are going to be shameless. They're going to say that they're going to claim that Saka should be there instead of Bernardo Silva. I don't know how.
And I have to leave. I'll be back in like a couple. But see, if this is kind of where the Liverpool are different, in my opinion, because when we talk, and Mr. E is the Arians that we know each other very well, we respect. There's a respect there, right?
Yep.
When we talk and they talk, there's a respect. Because we know what it's like to go to 98 points and have to win every single game with 14 games in the bounce. We know what it's like, right?
Yeah.
We know what it's like to go again and Liverpool. We know what it's like. They can put their Champions League and their Premier League on the table when we talk. So we can have a conversation. We can debate and fight. By the end of the day, because they have those things to show, we can break bread and say, respect you, understood.
Yeah.
The problem is Arsenal bottled it. There's nothing to show. What do you have to show?
Yeah, I mean, yes, they did. They did. Sorry,
you know what is Veta? We've like what Carl said, we've always had yes, even though we've somewhat had like say a rivalry or we've always had a fight with Liverpool, there's somewhat of a say mutual respect for one another. Say unlike Arsenal's, because we know that Liverpool is a team that could take us here all the way to the last day of the season, and give us a headache.
Yeah, I think again the respect, and I know Gundogan's got to go, Gundogan's got to drop for a bit, but he'll be back. I agree, because even before Liverpool started challenging, they did their thing in the Champions League. So that fight, that mutual respect in terms of, oh, you guys are serious, you guys are legit, was there. Arsenal are a little too chatty before they've even done anything remotely close to showing that level of.
You know what it is, Veta? You know how I like to describe Arsenal fans as? I like to describe them as that they have an illness, which is verbal diarrhea, which they love to talk a lot. I'm being serious.
They do need, but yeah, they have to talk because there's no actions just yet. That's really what I think. For them pursuing this hardware, when they do get hardware, then it'll be legitimate. But now they got to talk more because there's nothing there. Let me go to the comments. Rose goes, Vader, Carl is spot on. Arsenal got the best chance of winning the league, and you know what happened. I don't think they're getting that chance again. Man City is way superior on all accounts. Facts. Rose, I agree with you. And what Carl is saying, I'm in agreement too. Where I don't think that they are not going to be in the mix this year. I'm not saying that they're going to win a trophy. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not saying that they're going to necessarily match us or outpace us to win. But I don't think that they're going to fall off to not be, I think, fighting. I don't think they're going to fall off and not be fighting, especially how they're now investing. If they keep Partey and Rice, those are two options. If they have the healthy squad that they claim, I think they're going to still cause problems for other teams within the league. But we'll have to see, because they've been talking a lot. We'll see if the talk matches up. I see my man Klinical. I'm going to bring him from backstage shortly. Dre P goes, I'm excited to see how Gvardiol will, if he goes to City, will play. Could Pep mold him in a Van Dijk type player?
Carl, Veta, we spoke about it on the space that I did before.
Okay.
Where Carl explained it to where how we will play in a sense. But you could ask Carl to explain it again. He explained it on the space pretty much. He just said
Yeah,
the
when
way
he
he will
comes
play. Yeah, and then
when he comes
he
back, I
will
know he
say
has to go out
himself.
for a bit. Fair enough. Let me bring my man Clinical in the building. Clinical, what's good, my guy?
Wagwan. How you guys
All
doing?
right. No, we're
And
good.
big up all my fellow three-peat and treble winners.
Oh,
you
you
know?
beat me to it. You beat
Sorry,
me
I've
to
been
it.
milking it too. I can't lie. I've been using that everywhere.
No, it's all good, man. I want to welcome you properly, but you beat me to it. Thanks for being on the show, man. We're talking about some of the squads back and forth. I want to kind of like transition a little bit and talk about this because we know teams are going to be powering up. They're going to be trying to level up and do their thing for this season. And what may not be noticed, and maybe this might be something to really talk about on CIA, but last season, 2022-2023, Chelsea top spenders. The season of 2021-2022, you know who the top spenders were? Arsenal.
Arsenal.
So these teams are spending, all right? And Arsenal's spending at a point where it's not good enough to be fifth, which they were 2 seasons ago. They're not spending, they're spending at a level where it's not really going to be good enough to fall off and be second, no trophies, right? So a lot's going to be put on a team like Arsenal, on a team like Chelsea.
Veta, and that's
Yeah.
the question that I asked Arsenal fans. I said to them, listen here. Yeah. Look, if Arteta gets the praise, like you say, the Declan Rice, so you guys say, etc., all of that, and he somewhat how fails, but because I saw the stat where he spent more than Pep and Klopp, and if he fails to win it, or you know what they said, at least if he wins the FA Cup, it's still good. I said, come on, that's a failure mentality. Listen, it's like when you come, you're planning to for you. Let's say you're an athlete. You plan to win the race, but yet you're happy. Then you become happy with coming last. It's like that. You're not gonna.
Yeah, that's never acceptable. And again, they're going to try to downplay it, but what I've seen right now, the way this transfer window's opened up, the way they're spending to win this league. The fans can say one thing, but no, the way this manager is getting backed, the way they spent in 2021, they're spending to win this league. You don't spend at this level, at this volume, to just be okay with top 4 and an FA Cup. No, they're not spending like that. I want to point out, DC goes, Dre, Arsenal fans are immature. They need to relearn how to be fans and understand the ebbs and flow of the season. Yeah, the ups and downs. They need to understand that 100%. I agree with you. Dre goes, when they do well, they brag endlessly, and when they do bad, they rant endlessly. Dre, man, yeah, like DC said, they're out of practice. But let's not be fooled. The spending in this transfer window has a lot of clubs being like, listen, we're going for it. And I want to say we're going to get into it. I'm still celebrating. We're all still celebrating. 3-peat treble winners, invincible in the Champions League run. We got to celebrate. But let's also know that this 2023-2024 season is going to be the most difficult season ever. It is going to be the most difficult season ever. I got my man Treble Father. He's been Treble Father before the treble was even a trouble for us in the mix. Martin, thanks for joining.
Good evening. How are we all?
We are very good. Let me do this official. I want to thank Treble Father, the 3-peat treble winner in the building. We've been celebrating. Hope you've been doing the same.
Nah, I've moved on now. I'm with Pep. Moved on now.
You have not moved on. I'm not hearing that. Get out of here. No, thanks for being on the show. We got a nice panel here today. I know I've been MIA please hit the like button, sub, share this if you can. And even if you're following me on Twitter, even just share the tweet. Share the tweet. That helps get this channel out there as well. And it's always much appreciated. I'm so grateful. I looked at my numbers and I'm like, oh, I'm at 350 right now. Thank you so very much to everyone that's added to that sub list. Now, let me talk about this because cost of living is going up. Everyone's having their difficulties. Sometimes we have to make choices. I myself made choices whether I'm going to keep the premium cable channel or I'm going to downgrade and strictly just have internet and have some of the streaming accounts or platforms. So we all have to make those choices. Klinical, what are you thinking? This world right now, the price of rice is absolutely ridiculous. What do you think of City choosing to make a proper choice on how to manage the budget and choosing to walk away from rice?
See, what I don't really understand is, I think personally the bid that we made was a very good deal for West Ham. And the initial bid that Arsenal made, it was split into 5 or 6 payments, something of the sort. Ours was a bit more, but split in 2 payments. So if they were losing a player at the quality and importance that Rice is to their team, it would have been better for them to accept our deal than theirs and then reinvest for the upcoming season. But now I'm assuming that, even with this improved Arsenal bid, it's going to be split in similar to their first couple of bids. I don't know. I don't think we need him that much to where we go that high. And we've seen it with previous players. We've seen it with Cucurella. We've seen it with Maguire, where you go that far out of our valuation, and it's like, okay, well, we're just gonna look at our alternatives then, because at the end of the day, they're business people running the club, so we're not gonna make investments that just aren't smart for us. So I like the fact that we pulled out of the deal.
Okay. Martin, Declan Rice, do you agree that it was a want and not a need?
Oh yeah, it was definitely a want. Wasn't a need. I'm trying to stay away from the ITK stuff because I get burned.
You want to stay away from ITK stuff?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay away. I wish people wouldn't tell me things. I do know a little bit about what happened with Rice. It was more of, we didn't want Rice to play number 6.
Okay.
Rice didn't feel he could do more than number 6 and had issues over the Calvin Phillips and Rodri issues. So, yeah, it was decided upon, we'll make the bid, see what happens. We didn't get him, we move on. It was a one, we didn't want him to play 6. We've already got the world's best 6. We don't need him as 6. That wasn't the role for him. There was a different role. And if he thought he couldn't do that role, at least he was honest and said, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, because he'll go to Arsenal and he'll play number 6.
Mm-hmm.
At City, he wasn't coming to play number 6.
And here's the thing, not so much with regards to those lines, because again, I'm outside looking in, but I did say that if he was looking to be the best player that he can be, he would have joined City. Like if he wanted to be challenged beyond be challenged beyond just his role, he would have joined City, because again, Pep does not guarantee playing time to anyone. Pep does not even guarantee that you're only going to be playing in said role. Like look at Stones, look at Silva.
Exactly.
Silva's played all over that pitch. Even Gundogan's played false 9 to playing 6 to playing in the midfield. So I think if he were to just keep things a little more controlled, manage expectations of him, there would be less of an adventure going to Arsenal than it would be going to City. So,
yeah, it's a weird one. You got to think about it. City bidded 90 million. City don't pull out deals over 5 or 10 million quid.
Right.
It was 30, Cucurella, 30 million difference.
Mhm.
Maguire, 20, 30 million difference. Different story.
Yeah.
It was 10 million quid.
And-
City won. If there was an absolute yes, I will come, I am happy, City would have pushed. They didn't. There wasn't that appetite back on the other end.
Yeah.
Sorry, that there was an appetite to come, but to play his role. His role was not available, so hence the appetite was then not there.
Gotcha.
Which, fair enough, you move on. And you look at every player we buy, versatility has to be the key to them. They don't just play one role. They play 3 and 4 roles, like you just said.
Mhm.
And that's why City will take their time. If it means Bernardo Silva stays and he goes next year or whatever, then so be it. It's this board will get things right. It's a lot of pressure for Arsenal, I'll tell them that. Because I'll tell you what, if they don't come out the blocks and they don't win the league after spending the best part of 200 million, Arteta's head's on the block.
Yeah. No, Arteta is being backed. This is year 4 for him, year 5, or maybe it's year 4 complete. He's about to start year 5.
But Martin, you know what's crazy? Arteta has spent more money than Klopp and Klopp and Pep. Sorry, and that's what I said to Arsenal fans. I said to them, listen, what is the excuse going to be? Last year you said, it was injury. Yeah, I said to them, this year if we fail to win, I said to them, what's the excuse going to be? The officials or injuries yet again? No, they say, even if we win an FA Cup, he still would have done a good job.
Yeah.
What mentality is this?
Yeah, don't worry about that, Arsenal fan. He's trying to protect his manager, but he's talking silly. A few comments I want to get to, because again, my time zone, me fitting this into a work day, I'm not always up to speed with what's happening, especially on that side of the pond. But Robel wants to let me know, and it's brought up earlier in the show. Big up, guys. Question for everyone. What's up with Piers Morgan doing something about Man City finance?
Yeah, I saw that. I was on the space and I showed it to Carl. Carl was annoyed.
So again, this shouldn't be surprising. Whether it's going to be Simon Jordan, whether it's Piers Morgan now, whether it's whoever, we know that the finance money talk is going to be coming out. That happens.
Piers Morgan better have his facts in check. Because if he does this tonight, he might get a lawsuit thrown back on him the next day. He's got to be very careful how he words all this tonight. And he better fact check what he's about to exclusively reveal to the world.
True.
This is what I mean. This is a guy, by the way, who taps into people's phones.
Yeah.
Disregards soldiers of this great country.
Yeah.
And then wants to, sorry. He's crossed
many lines.
I haven't got time.
He's crossed many lines for the sake of clicks and engagement. I want to, and Robel, thanks for that comment. DC said if City needed him with reference to Rice, they'd have gotten him. Full stop.
Exactly.
If that was the case, 100%, I agree with you. What I do like, and I wanted to bring this up, what I do like with how City winning culture. Learn from past mistakes and now established to a point where, and I think I said this in my tweet, City has transferred discipline. They want to talk about how Arsenal, they came in with their bid and they were going to follow the process and their increment up. Sure, cool. There's no one in the mix. You submitted a bid, West Ham rejected it, and then obviously creep up. But at the same time, City showed discipline to wait and see what's this value at, where is this going, and to see that Arsenal had done their thing, City had their number set, the valuation number, submitted it. If it was accepted, cool, we move. If it's not, thank you, see you later. So I like how they showed patience. I like how they had that valuation. I like also with regards to the conversation, with regards to what the player may be asked to do in a role over at City. I'm cool with it. Like I said, and what was mentioned earlier, Rice was a want, not a need, and the pressure that is now applied on him, record-setting transfer fee, Arsenal spending the way they are, and the last year having the season that they had. Trust me, when we got warriors, like Adam, and I'll mention Professor Hamza out there that are very agenda-driven. They're going to take this piece of information and have it run next year. So Arsenal, be prepared. Be prepared. Brat goes, Tiki always has multiple options for every position we need. If we don't get our first option, we move on to the next. No worries. You're right. You're right, man. It's going to be nice and calm. Nice and calm. Zeno, apart from Mahrez is a tricky one. Like the surprise move, in my opinion, again, we won't revisit this, but like the surprise move of all three, Zinchenko, Jesus, and Sterling leave last year, that's the kind of feeling I have with Mahrez in a way. I know it's early in the transfer window, so it's not too stressful, but Mahrez moving, yeah.
You know what is? I think, look, generally speaking, I read the reports, but at the beginning I was somewhat laughing at them, and then now I'm somewhat beginning to think I think Mahrez will potentially leave, and I think we will also potentially somewhat try to cash in on him. Let's say an adequate or even an offer that comes that City deem to be brilliant. Say, let's just say an example from say Saudi Arabia, they come in with say an offer of say 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think generally speaking, I think City will take it, and let's say they offered Mahrez something stupid amount of wages, I think he will go.
Yeah, I think there's a number that will have club and player part, of course, and if that number is presented, then there'll be some movement. Let me do this real quick.
Vader game.
Now you see, I tried to lay things out so you jump onto the stream, jump onto the channel. You see, you know what? Vader in that panel, they're going to be discussing so and so. We've already talked about the 3-peat Treble winning, unbeaten, UCL win. We talk about thanking Gundogan and everything that he's done, a hero to this club, epic, memorable, will never be forgotten moments. My heart to this day can watch last season and those goals that he put in for us and still be giddy and excited. But we say thank you to him, and then we also welcome Mateo Kovacic to our club, and I think he'll put in a very good shift for us. We dismissed this myth, although I think there's a future conversation again, because Carl does say that our backup 11 would be top 4 in the league. We'll discuss that, I think, in length at another time. And then obviously keeping things in perspective, because rivals, pundits want to talk about City always spending. Last season, Chelsea blew everybody out of the water. Season before that, Arsenal outspending everybody. We're going to keep close eyes on who outspends who this year. And the last 5 years, guess who's had the best net spend? Yeah, you're looking at us, Manchester City. Declan Rice, price of Rice is out of this world. We decided to pass. We'll see what Arsenal cooks this year. And now that leads me to
Vader, we all might have to become farmers and grow our own rice. That's how bad the inflation is.
You're gonna have to grow your own vegetables for sure. Our ingredients, and that's what I love about this club, being self-sufficient with the City Football Group and how it's been expanding. You know what I mean? You find great efficiencies doing that. So yeah, we're gonna be able to kind of shield ourselves a little bit from these crazy transfer prices that are out there. But I want to talk about my man KDB. I'm never in an ITK, but I like Martin, I kind of occasionally hear some things. And we heard that KDB wasn't quite right in spells. Like, he's having this, he's recovering, or he's having a game to recover. I, for one, had no idea, and I think many of us in the comments as well had no idea that KDB had suffered that rupture to his hamstring at that point in the season and was battling through it. I am actually going to go back now that I know that, because correct me if I'm wrong, he had suffered that injury in the was it RB Leipzig in Champions League?
It'd been struggling. If you go back the last 5 games of the season, do you remember we were all saying he wasn't himself?
Yeah, but
we were saying in the stadium, could it be an injury? And I think we said it on our show. We said we wouldn't be surprised if he came out and said he had an injury.
yeah,
He was playing like that. He was playing like he had an injury.
he's been playing like that for a while. And again, obviously, an injury can worsen. It can kind of get managed and not be as visible. But I want to go back because I'm going to find the article that actually illustrates when he kind of suffered that injury. But I'm celebrating this three-peat treble all season long. I'm going to go back to some of those early games because I'm going to go back and give KDB the proper tribute, because knowing what he battled with and him putting his body on the line again and delivering the way he did is absolutely
it reminds me of? It reminds me of Fernandinho. When Fernandinho wasn't he had, I think at one point he had some issues.
Vincent Kompany.
And Vincent Kompany, even Pablo Zabaleta. This is Pablo Zabaleta. The amount of times this guy would go say his head bleeding or his nose bleeding.
Sergio Aguero running with no cartilage in his knees. Like, yeah, I mean, I love the Warrior spirit. I love what they did this season. I'm saying this. I'm gonna go back, Klinical. I'm gonna go back and really give KDB the appreciation that he deserves, and also that I'm gonna note not many players have the confidence to say, you know what, I'm signaling that I have to come off. Right? Some players they'll just continue to limp and make the manager pull them off. He was like, listen, I know my body. You guys know that I've been suffering with this injury. I told you, when it gets to the point where I can't go, I'm a signal. And he gave that signal. Many players would do it the opposite. Many players would have to make the manager call them to come off. And I give him great respect for doing that and not costing the team any moments with him not being able to keep up with the pace on the pitch. What did you think of when you learned of what he was dealing with, Klinical?
At the end of the 2020-21 season, I think he did the same thing. And if I remember correctly, he didn't get to play any international games for Belgium that summer. And then at the start of the season, that was 21-22, we had that first game against Spurs in their stadium. We lost 1-0, Grealish's first game. He didn't play, he missed 4 or 5 or maybe 6 games at the start of that season before he came back. And then we got the news that he's been playing on injections throughout that time in the season before. And, people always say that this club has no soul, but these players love our club so much that they're willing to fight so hard. It's very reminiscent of Laporte at the end of the season before last.
Yeah.
And all these guys are warriors, man, because when it comes down to it, they're not gonna shy away from responsibility. They know how important they are to the squad, and they know what they can bring to us.
I agree.
I'm just so glad that he still managed to put in the level of performances that he did while he was injured, even if it wasn't at his absolute best.
Yeah.
And it is unfortunate that we saw him come off in a second Champions League final. You do have that what if he could stay on for the entire game thing, but how I choose to look at it is at least that didn't happen 3-4 games prior. So yeah, big massive respect to KDB.
So I want to shout out DC. DC goes, KDB is a warrior, and I'm very proud of this club, its physio, its staff, and Pep for not only keeping this private during the season, but working their tails off for this man. DC, I'm with you. But here's what's funny, and this is why I say I want to go back and I'll go back and watch some games. You guys remember the moment where Pep is yelling at KDB, release the ball, pass the ball, and we kind of see KDB. I think he
I think KDB told him to shut up.
Yeah, KDB, like on the pitch, he waves his hand. He says, "Shut up!" Right? But now when I go back and know that he's fighting this injury too, I would be the same way. I'd be like, for Pep, I'm like, you don't have to run so much. Pass the ball. You know what I mean? So it's so many things are going to be in a different perspective now, going back at it. And same, like DC said, like Clinical just mentioned, and we've all said, warrior spirit, put their body on the line for the sake of this club. Delivering us a 3-peat treble is absolutely amazing. Holt wants to mention his comment to the team is incredible. He put his body on the line. His will to win is unparalleled. I agree, man. I agree 100%. I want to make sure I do this nice and clean.
Vader game.
Now, I'm doing my best. I'm going to thumbnail this. Trust me, I'm going to thumbnail this. It'll take me a little bit later on today, but I'm going to do this for those of you that may be watching this another time. I'm also doing my best to keep the show within an hour 15, an hour 30 at best. And I'm closing on that hour 30. I got to be cognizant of time. The last topic of the show, and I want to get you guys in the comments. I want to hear what you have to say. This is early settings. I don't really do the transfer talk. I don't really do the rumors. I live that. I'll feature on a channel for sure. But today in particular, because I've been away for so long, I do want to just sprinkle in a little bit of this. Now, RB Leipzig, phenomenal defender, left-footed. It's been talked about for many, many, many weeks. When we talk about need and want, this is a need for me. This is a need for me, guys. I don't know if you agree, but Josko Gvardiol.
You know what is right? I don't want to talk down Kovacic, but I always said one player that I will say be excited to see come through that door is Gvardiol. Listen, I am not taking away absolutely anything from Kovacic. Kovacic is a fantastic sign.
Yeah.
But that Gvardiol kid, I love this kid.
I think I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for his profile of player. Yes, I know we did something nasty to them in the Champions League, but player wise, he's legit. He's good. So I want to see him at the club. And again, I know we'll have alternatives, but Clinical, Treble Father. This is a need, right? This isn't a want. This is a need.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know with it because there's a debate that's never happened. What do you do with Aka? Because let's be honest, he's going to replace Laporte. Laporte wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So it's not a one in, one out situation. It's a situation of, don't get me wrong, he's going to start. If City are going to put up that money, he's not coming to sit on the bench.
You know what I'll say? And this is in all fairness. Again, I love all our channels. Whether you're Mancunian Way, Pitch Points, True City Fan, Clinical YouTube channel as well. I haven't done my homework to actually have the contract length breakdowns. But if I'm going to go off at the top of my head, I think the shortest length remaining contract is Ake's. If I remember correctly, I think Diaz.
Isn't it?
It's who? Well, yeah, Walker, of course. But when we talk about in relation to,
yeah. I mean, listen, the guy is phenomenal, and yes, he's a 10-year defender, absolutely, and the lad is absolutely keen as anything to get over there. He's the guy pushing the move. He absolutely wants to come, which is great. And I'm all for it. I think he's going to be absolute world class with us in the end. And just to me, because I honestly think Pep will go with the back line of centre backs.
Yeah.
Gomez is going out the door, Ethan. I'm sorry to break that news to you, mate. Gomez will not be here next year.
We're gonna send him out to get experience. He'll come back, Ethan. Don't worry.
Veta, how could you?
Neither is Palmer. Neither is
Martin and
Palmer either.
Veta.
He won't be here next year.
Martin and Veta, how could you upset Patrick? That's Patrick's son.
I know. Patrick's gonna.
Well,
have to
Patrick's
deal with
going to be
it.
upset because Palmer and Gomez will both be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sean Seagulls agreed he could be a rock for the next 10 years. Defense is sorted. I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing. He's a 10-year defender, innit?
yeah. You know what? Not to be disrespectful, but I think Ake and the two would kind of go swap as Gvardiol got up to speed because obviously with
Hey, Vader, I'm back. Sorry.
oh
I just finished
big
up
up,
the meeting.
no worries.
back.
We
Martin,
were just, yeah, we're all in it.
Good evening, Martin.
Evening.
We were just talking about the addition of Gvardiol.
So who else is here? Clinicals here? Is it Clinical?
Clinicals in the
Oh,
building.
Clinical.
Yep.
Good evening. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to. So I wasn't sure.
Yep.
Apologies.
No,
Big up,
no,
big
it's
up.
all good.
Mhm.
Yeah. But we were talking about the addition of Gvardiol to the team, and I'm saying, I posed a question: is it a need versus a want? And I'm thinking it's a need with Laporte out the door. So
I watched this video, and I think I shared it with Martin, and it's one of the best pieces of analysis. The reason why I still have The Athletic as a subscription, I won't mention Sam Lee's name. I'll leave that for another day. But it's because ever so often there are these guys in The Athletic who are just serious football guys. They don't do this trolling stuff or this foolishness. They actually just do football.
yeah.
And there's a video I shared on the WhatsApp group, I believe I sent to Martin as well, where they go into what they call cities transfer business, what cities should do and what they should do. And they talk about who may be leaving, who may be going, why would Pep change, and what Pep's done last season, and where the weaknesses are, and what he needs to address. And they talked about, and really, this is one of the best things. I'll post a link. It's one City fans out there, Blues, watch this. It's really, really good, really, really good. And they talked about Gvardiol, right, and what Gvardiol does, and the fact that we play this 3-box-3, which Martin and I have been fans of for a very long time. Flowers to Martin. Is because when we play this 3-box-3, the weakness in the 3-box-3 system is the space between the 2 6s and the defensive, the center backs who are wide.
Okay.
Think about when we play Stone, we play Diaz, we play Ake, we play Akanji as a 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's Stones and Rodri as a 2, so it's a 3 and 2, 3 and 2. The area of weakness is the space between Rodri and Ake, and then Stones and Akanji. That space right there.
Yeah.
And they said the reason why Pep has changed to center backs as opposed to full backs is because you need players who can defend 1v1. Not fullbacks who are kind of iffy like Zinchenko and Cancelo who stick their leg out and try to defend. Players who actually like to defend, who love to defend 1 versus 1. But also players who not just defend 1 versus 1, but players who are able to carry the ball into the midfield and give the ball to the Rodri and to the Guan, De Bruyne and co.
Okay.
Gvardiol is one of the best at that in world football. Look at his World Cup games, look at RB Leipzig games. He's able not just to defend 1v1, but he's also able to carry the ball into the midfield third and lay the ball off somebody else.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is what Akanji and Ake do really, really well, especially Ake. His 1v1 defending, think Saka, right? His 1v1 defending is so good, so crisp, so good. He's able to win the ball and carry the ball into the midfield to give to a Jack or give to a Rodri or give to somebody else and go back to his position.
Right.
Now, against Bayern Munich, against Koeman, he suffered because they were overloading him on that right side, and Pep found a solution. But that's the area of weakness, which Gvardiol, in my opinion, solves.
Okay. I agree. In terms of profile, I think he would be absolutely amazing. I think there's also for the size of player that he is, he's also he's got good pace. So I think how he would fit into this league and how Pep would use him would be absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna say it's a need. I'm definitely saying it's a need, not a want. I'm excited to see how we do business to make it happen.
And so if I may, and on the flip side, right, let's think about the alternative and the person who may be going out, right? I may report. His distribution is wonderful. He passes the ball really well. But in this new system, 1v1, yeesh.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
We saw that against Lyon, 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it against Tottenham, 1v1.
Right.
We saw it in many games with Zinchenko against Chelsea in the final of the Champions League, 1-1. Zinchenko was watching the ball go past him. Literally. Go watch it again. Watch that goal again.
I don't need to. I watched it too many times.
He was literally standing like a frozen statue watching Kai Havertz just blow past him. No recovery, nothing.
Yeah.
So Eric Garcia 1v1. Leon will remind you of that. I mean, it's the evidence is clear.
I'm gonna try to put this on screen. It's not quite the best formation, but it kind of gives you an idea. Let me do this. So just because we got the back three, I got Akanji, Diaz, and that possible addition, need addition in Gvardiol, and then we got Stones and Rodri, pushed up in the midfield, playing those two pivots. Silva right now, Silva and Grealish out wide, and then in those spaces, KDB and currently Gundogan. Is that going to be Kovacic? We'll see. Is that going to be Foden? We'll see. But a lot of options here. But defensively, I think we do need to fix things up with him leaving. Now, I want to say this, and I want to be cognizant of time. Let me go to the comments real quick before I say this last point. Before I make this point. Oh man, I missed a few. Ethan goes. Gomez is what? Gomez is not left wing next season. Stop that. Preseason. Get out of here. Sean wants to say, imagine Company as next manager coaching Gvardiol.
No. Sorry.
Let's wait on that. Let's not do the sentimental role of Company rolls in from Burnley and then goes to Manchester City.
Sean, I'm gonna say this, and maybe this is. I'm gonna put this out there. Wishful thinking. The energy's out there. Pep isn't making 2025 signings. City aren't making 2025 signings. They're not making signings like, oh, you know what? We're all in. We're cashing out. We're going to just go to Blaze and make sure we get things done in 2025. We're still acquiring players with the vision beyond that. I'm going to say this. I'm not no ITK, but I'm getting a little itch that Pep's going to extend. Pep's extending beyond 2025. I'm going to say this. Maybe it's wishful thinking. I don't know. Maybe I'm still too giddy off of this three-peat trouble, but Pep's extending to 2027. I'm putting it out there. Rose. Yes, Vader. I think Gvardiol will be an asset for Manchester City. Pep will have him doing wonderful things. Rose, from your mouth to God's ears, I'm telling you, we're going to make that happen. Ethan, Ethan got to say preseason play. Okay, he's already got his list for preseason play. He wants to talk about Carson, Ake, Laporte, Diaz. You're tripping right now. Lewis, Palmer, Perone, Silva, left wing, Gomez, Alvarez, Mahrez. All right, man. Ethan, we'll revisit this.
Just a quick one on that.
Yeah.
You think they're going out to Japan just to play reserves? They're going out to Japan for a certain reason. They're not going out there to play reserves.
The fans of Japan are going to want to show.
They ain't going there to watch Perone and Gomez. I'm sorry, but they're not. You want Haaland and all them boys out.
You know what it is? Patrick was saying, us going to Japan could coincide with us, but say going from Matoma, but this Brighton team are bloody difficult to deal with.
Matoma,
some of them will play. You'll get a mixture. Some of them will play because from what I've heard, the plan is for some of the EDSs to go out to Japan, South Korea, and then they'll do the loan moves when they get back. That's the plan. Like Perone to Girona, Gomez looking like Burnley. There's a few. Parma.
Perone,
I don't know where Parma's going to go.
Is it strongly thought that Perone is going to be sent out on
That's talk at the minute. He's going to go out in pre-season and then go out to Girona.
Okay. Real briefly, I want to talk about Gabri Viega. All right, and I'm gonna be real with you. Celta, La Liga, I don't watch. I've come across 3 comp videos. I'm shameless. I'm gonna be real with you. I've come across 3 comp videos. In my short comp video only highlights, do not kill me in the comments, please. Those of you all of you featured on the panel right now, don't kill me, please. But the little highlights that I saw, the young 21-year-old, I think he could do what we've kind of seen from Silva in the midfield. Not out on right wing, not all of the versatility that we saw from him, but what I saw in the midfield, holding possession, retaining possession, taking on 1 or 2 players, sneaking into the box. That's the closest thing that it reminded me of. Very young player, but a talent nonetheless. I know he's on our target. He's one of our targets. I'm not mad at it at all. I don't know if any of you have anything you want to chime in. I don't know if Clinical's done any FIFA. Actually, no, I don't even think you could do any FIFA pre-match experimentation, or if Pitch Points or Treble Father Adam, if you guys see.
Well, he's playing right now, right, for the under 21s for I believe Spain, isn't he?
Okay.
He is. So
yeah, he's Spanish.
Yeah, he's right now in the team. So if Spain go through, England go through, we should see him against those under 21. I mean,
there's a load of clubs lining up though, isn't there? There's those Chelsea,
to be honest with you,
Newcastle.
I don't know nothing. I've not seen it. I'm pretty much like you. I'm just going into it blindly.
Yeah, I've seen bits.
Sean agrees with me. Sean agrees. Does remind me of Silva. All right.
His temperament can be. The only thing I've heard from him is I heard a quote when he said his dream is to one day go to Real Madrid. Yeah, I don't want another Spanish player to come in 3 years down the line wants to bounce out to Real Madrid. I'm sick of being Barcelona and Real Madrid, feed a club out. I'm sick of doing that. Listen, it's a release clause.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend I've watched the guy.
25 mil, I think, right?
Yeah, it's a release clause. There's 5 or 6 clubs interested. City have been monitoring him since about March. So I guess we'll see where we land with it.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know anything about him either. Mm-hmm. But if he's a target, I would personally also like to see a player like Xavi Simons be targeted, because I feel like he would fit our system well. And I've seen more of him than I have of Viega. And he's a player that can play in the midfield and on the wing. So I feel like that's the type of
that's a good
winger
player. I watched him.
That would work for Pep.
I know I'd personally do, but that's me. I would go to Inter Milan. I'd go to Inter Milan and put a truckload of money down for Barella, but that's me.
Which begs the question, Martin. Why isn't the club doing that? Maybe the I
don't know.
You know, I also saw news that what's his name? Valverde is available at Real Madrid for 90 million euros.
Yeah,
I don't know about the source for that, but if that is true, definitely a player I think Pep would love to have in this team. But I don't know about that.
See, because you know what I want? I'll be straight and honest with you. And the more I say it, the more I get excited about it. My front three next season is a very simple combination. Jack Grealish on the left, Haaland in the middle, Alvarez on that right. I want Alvarez to become our David Villa. Go back and watch Barcelona's front three with David Villa.
Yep.
My God.
Yep.
My God.
Yep.
You can get because for me, Satis Foden on the wing. Foden, I think we should share that role with KDB, because I don't want KDB playing 60 games next year.
Agreed.
Okay. KDB should be playing 30, 35 games. You bring Foden in, you learn that 10 role completely, and Alvarez does that right-hand side, not as a winger, but as a front three man, a wide man on. I tell you now, you get the control from Jack, the directness from Alvarez, and the killer instinct from Haaland.
100%. I agree with you, Martin. I see. This is why
Alvarez cannot sit anymore. Let's be honest. Alvarez is not, I've said this to you for so long, Baker. Alvarez is not going to get in ahead of Haaland. So there's your solution. He isn't going to sit 2 years as backup again on a bench.
Right.
Get this guy in, get him flying, send Bernardo wherever he wants to go. I'll drive him to an airport. See you later. Ta-ra. Thank you for your service. Good luck. Ta-ra. Or Mahrez, whoever it is, get Alvarez in, because if we do what we did this season, that kid's going to up sticks and leave.
I agree. But okay. That's when we get to next season 11. I'm with you on that one. I think it's going to be interesting because with regards to Champions League, one thing that was apparent to me, and what I hope all that Foden's doing this season, I want him doing dead ball free kick drills tirelessly, because when KDB was out, he was the one on top of the ball, whether it was for crosses or free kicks, and he's got to work on that. 100% he's got to work on that. Foden in that KDB role, okay, I'm cool with it. I think Pep obviously flirted with Alvarez in that KDB role at times.
Yeah, but let me ask you, let me just point something out to Martin. So in the final of the Champions League, when the pressure was on, it was 0-0 first half, when we were under the cosh, and our boy KDB goes down with that hamstring tear, which is going to be out for probably early September or so, right?
Yeah.
Grade 3, right? Not too bad. Not too bad. Pep on the sideline. Watch the video. I talk about this, right? Watch the video that UEFA put out where Pep is screaming at the top of his lungs. He's shouting like a madman, calling one person and one person alone. Phil.
Yeah, get ready.
Get ready. Phil is still trying to put his boots on, his cleats on.
Yeah.
He rackets this guy. Phil. Swear word, gets in. Guardiola doesn't go to Alvarez. He doesn't go to Mahrez for the KDB replacement in the biggest game of his career. Let's be clear. In the pressure moments, I tell you this, Martin coaches, I coach. In those moments, your brain is not functioning well. You go to instinct and trust. Right, Martin? You go to instinct.
Alvarez is not strong enough in that KDB role. And that's nothing against him.
Right.
Nothing against him. Not everyone can be in that midfield and take the bumps.
Phil also has
brings
several
on
years.
Phil because Phil knows or has learned not just how to be direct, but how to control the game a bit more. So to Martin's point, Phil drops to midfield, a la Kevin De Bruyne, and then play Alvarez on that wide right, with Erling Haaland, and then left with Jack. Or Jack drops in, move somebody out wide. But Alvarez has to play more next season with Haaland. Has to.
No, I'm in agreement. I think it's going to be a great convo on what the front three, to what Martin just mentioned, will be. And then also when we start having the combo, well, what is going to be the main three in that midfield going to be, right? So Rodri speaks for himself. KDB, we just talked about, he's going to be injured. He's going to have an injury maybe leading to September, hopefully no later than that. But with Rodri, Foden, and who?
Kovacic.
Okay.
I think he's going to surprise a lot of people next year.
Okay. All right. Now, we're going to learn more about the transfer window. I'm going to lean on these guys, especially Gundogan.
You know what it is, Victor? You know, with Kovacic, I don't know if you guys will agree with me, but I think
Martin would tell you.
Kovacic. I think Kovacic would.
One second, Adam. What did you say, Carl?
Sorry.
No, sir. Martin would tell you I hate transfer windows. It's the worst part of the season. I hate them.
Yeah.
Look, we will land where we land on transfers. It's still June. You are going to get ups and downs. Some of your favourites may leave. We will bring in others. All I'll ever say is to everyone is we lost Aguero, David Silva, Vincent Kompany, Zabaleta, God knows how many others, and we got better.
Yeah.
Trust this board.
I'm with you. And Adam, what were you saying?
No, what I was saying was Conway was saying that he was saying that with Kovacic, he feels like that. I'm beginning to also think that Kovacic is going to do something special in this team. That's what I feel like. If he's starting, I feel like he's going to do something special. I don't know
he
what
can't
it is.
look at Chelsea. You can't look at
Yeah.
Kovacic in the last couple
No,
of
no,
years.
of course not. Of course not.
Watch Kovacic for Croatia.
The same
That's
way
the
you
real
can't-
Kovacic.
The same way you can't take a talented
If you don't
player.
mind, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, when people drop nuggets, we shouldn't rush over the meal. We should actually consume that meal and kind of marinate on it. When Martin says watch Kovacic for Croatia, I wasn't a fan. I be clear, right? But I went and watched that game that they played in the Nations League again, the one that went to 120 minutes against who country was it? Was it Croatia versus
Spain.
was it?
It was against Spain.
Spain, yes, Spain. Go and watch that kid again, that man again. My God. So when Martin says go watch him for Croatia, let's go watch him for Croatia.
Yeah.
You'll be marveled at what this guy can do.
No, I'm not mad at that. And I'm in agreement. Even with how dysfunctional Chelsea were, his talent was seen on that pitch. And I said it early in the show. It was Conte and him whenever we place Chelsea, where I was like, where are my concerns? Who am I paying attention to? Who am I watching? But when we talk about this transfer window, there's a lot. And again, when it comes down to like who could we strategically go after, not go after, Frankie de Jong is still out there. Kimmich is still out there. There's a lot that could kind of play out. We're showing you one thing with the right hand. We're showing you one thing with the right hand and doing something else with the left hand. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I want to make sure.
Sorry, I'm laughing because you're playing too much free for you.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. There's fantastic channels. Their channel details are in the description of my channel. I know Man Kyung Wei has a show later on today. I'm looking to join. I'm hoping to join. As well as I want to get back to CIA. It's summer settings. I know it may be difficult for some, but I'd like to get CIA back because we got.
Oh, can we do a show on Arsenal?
Absolutely.
They're pissing me right off. Excuse my language, but they're getting right on my. They're more insufferable than Liverpool fans.
Hey,
I've got
Adam
more
said the
respect
same
for
thing
Liverpool
earlier.
fans now. I'm sick to death of them.
Yeah, we'll get
sick
into
to
it.
death of them. They win they beat us in a signing, and you think they've won the league. You think they'd learn. They've won the league already. They've arranged a parade. You'd think they'd learn.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. But
can I just plug the show out? Show at 9:30. It's not transfer based. There'll be about 5 or 10 minutes on it. But tonight is going to be basically just a journey. I want to recount the whole 25 years because this treble has been such a journey. I'm going to recount some of my journey, Rich's, some of his, others, even you fans. I want to recount some of theirs. Right. I want to get, where they came from. Pat was in Istanbul. Pat's going to share some footage of him of himself in Istanbul. Okay. And this journey didn't start this season. This journey started 25 years ago.
Yeah.
With David Bernstein, Paul Dickoff. Because without that goal at Wembley in '99 and going to the back of Beyonds, the Lincolns and Wrexhams and Blackpools and all these other football clubs, we don't land in Istanbul.
Yeah.
This journey is a journey, and we're just going to unravel a little bit of it, and we're basically going to. It's like a dinosaur show, but
no, I think it'll be great.
Where it is, I've had enough of all the transfer stuff, and I don't want to keep doing transfer shows.
No, it's fitting, and like I've said many times, it's not dinosaur because to really celebrate today, you have to reflect on yesterday. And there's a lot, whether it's even for maybe some of the young fans that just being disappointed from the Pellegrini years, or being disappointed for some that maybe just joined when Pep joined. Like, to be able to go back even past that and to go through and relive some of the disappointment, to know how important it was. Because again, we all saw it. Carl mentioned this earlier. That Champions League kind of recap, that video that showed, you heard embraced, heartfelt, one of the tightest hugs you'll see, Pep and KDB, and Pep saying 7 years we've been fighting. So to go beyond that, it's going to be special. I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to be there as well.
We might end up doing some Piers Morgan stuff because I'm about to tune into that because that might end up taking over the show. I don't know yet.
It might. The way the comments were today, I think people are fired up. But I want to thank all of you. Pitch Points had to drop. Clinical in the building. I don't know, Clinical, if you want to plug or promote anything, free, you're more than welcome to.
Well, first of all, Martin, that sounds like a great idea for a show, and I hope I'm not busy because I'd love to catch that live and be a part of the conversation. But I did also plan earlier in the season. I wanted to do something a bit similar, but I basically want to get possibly some of you guys on and some other City fans that I can get in contact with, and basically speak about where your journey as a City fan started. Like, how were you influenced by the club to become a fan, and link that up to where we are now, and just take a holistic view of that journey. But as of stuff that's coming up soon, I do plan a show on Saturday. I haven't gotten confirmation yet from my guest, but it's not City related. It's to take a look at the current news around Harry Kane. Is a Spurs fan I'm trying to collaborate with.
Nice.
And also coming up, I do want to have that Calvin Phillips conversation that I did mention I wanted to have in terms of what my views are on him for next season. So if any of you guys are interested in coming along to having that conversation with me, I'd absolutely love to have you.
Big ups.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I have coming up in the near future.
Nice. Listen, Adam is in the Twitter Spaces. His Twitter account is in the details are in the description of this video. So please go check him out. Support him. If you see any notification, jump into the Spaces. You don't necessarily have to be a speaker. Listen to it. He's always got some fire conversations. It gets a little hectic at times, but he polices it. He controls it really well. If you can, make sure you tune in and check out the man Way. I'm gonna put this here on screen. He's gonna be doing his thing at 9:30 UK time, which is 4:30 my time. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being on today's show, being in the comments, dealing with all of those topics. Go ahead, Adam.
The best way to describe me is, listen, I'm a nice guy, but at the same time, I enjoy trolling. Like, listen, with me, I will troll for days. Vator knows, Vator will tell you. Vator likes to describe me that I'll use certain words, yeah, and then I have all the cockroaches coming for me.
Nah, you know how to trigger people, no doubt. You know how to trigger people. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Adam's like myself. He's like Denzel Washington in Equalizer. He's not gonna go out and initiate, but if you come at him incorrect, he's gonna regulate. He's gonna equalize. So that's him. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This energy is not going anywhere. Celebrating the 3-peat Treble is gonna stay consistent. You see how it's fired up, lightning, energy's out there. But tune in for the next show, CIA Sunday. We got to discuss Arsenal. We got to discuss other agendas. I'm Vader Games. You heard from Adam. You heard from Klinical. You heard from Gundogan, Pitch Points. You heard from Way, Martin. And I'm Vader Games. Episode 86 of What Always Me. Continue the love and support. Rose, my gal, thank you so very much. DC, thank you for tuning in and supporting, and everyone else in the comments. We'll be back next week on Vader Games, and we're out.